In a world where modern titans like Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault, and Jeff Bezos amass immense wealth, it's easy to overlook the titans of bygone eras whose riches put even the most prosperous modern tycoons to shame. Picture the dazzling courts of Catherine the Great or the indomitable reach of Genghis Khan. Their riches weren't counted in billions, but rather in the realms that challenge understanding. From emperors who amassed trillions to rulers who controlled oceans of gold. Join us as we delve into the annals of history to reveal the 10 richest people of all time. Number 10. Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov. If you think modern-day Russian oligarchs possess substantial wealth, you should know that the Tsar Nicholas surpassed the combined wealth of the top 20 Russian billionaires in the 21st century. Recognized as Nicholas II of Russia and labeled Nicholas the Bloody by his rivals, he ranked among the most affluent individuals globally, amassing a net worth of approximately $300 billion when adjusted for inflation, ascending to power in 1894 and inheriting the immense riches of the centuries-old Romanov imperial dynasty. Nicholas II held the position of the last Tsar of Russia's lavish court. A significant portion of this wealth was intertwined with his state, but he also possessed an array of magnificent palaces, exquisite jewelry, and priceless artworks. Tragically, his life came to an end at the hands of an impromptu firing squad. Number 9. John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller ventured into the petroleum industry in 1863, and by 1880, his company Standard Oil had a stranglehold on 90% of American oil production. As per his obituary in the New York Times, a 1918 federal income tax return and estimates of his total wealth placed Rockefeller's value at approximately $1.5 billion. This sum constituted nearly 2% of the U.S. economic output for that year, as per data from Measuring Worth. Translating this share to 2023, it would equate to around $348 billion. Although Rockefeller encountered controversy due to his monopolistic control over the oil industry, he also left a significant philanthropic legacy. He contributed immensely to the community, donating around $500 million to educational, religious, and scientific initiatives through the Rockefeller Foundation. Number 8. Andrew Carnegie. While Rockefeller often dominates the headlines, it's worth considering that Andrew Carnegie could potentially hold the title of the wealthiest American in history. Born in Scotland, Carnegie amassed a colossal fortune, estimated at approximately $375 billion by Money.com, through his instrumental role in the growth of American steel industry during the 19th and early 20th centuries. In a significant deal, he sold his Carnegie Steel Company to J.P. Morgan in 1901 for a substantial sum of $480 million, based on the currency value of that era. What sets Carnegie apart is not just his remarkable financial success, but his substantial philanthropic contributions as well. By the time of his passing in 1919, Carnegie had donated a staggering 90% of his earnings to various philanthropic endeavors. Number 7. Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great's reign coincided with what's often referred to as Russia's Golden Age. As a formidable ruler, she orchestrated the transformation of her nation into a significant global force during the 18th century, as noted by Sky History. Remarkably, she maintains her position as the longest reigning woman in Russian history. Her authority was bolstered by an extensive land portfolio contributing to approximately 5% of the global GDP of that era. Catherine navigated through various challenges during her rule, including surviving numerous attempted uprisings. Alongside her political prowess, she accumulated immense wealth, which by today's standards is estimated to be an astonishing $1.5 trillion. Number 6. Augustus Caesar. The founder of the Roman Empire requires no formal introduction, being widely acknowledged as one of the most remarkable and renowned leaders in the annals of history. Augustus Caesar, the driving force behind the empire's establishment, oversaw an empire that generated roughly a quarter to a third of the world's overall production, with a significant portion of his wealth attributed to his personal holdings. Luxuo reports that his individual fortune constituted approximately 1/5 of his economic prowess, which would equate to a staggering value of approximately $4.6 trillion in today's terms. Furthermore, Stanford history professor Ian Morris adds a captivating dimension to Augustus Caesar's legacy by stating, for a while, he personally owned all of Egypt. Now that's hard to top. Number 5. Joseph Stalin. Stalin stands out as an extraordinary figure in modern economic history. A dictator endowed with absolute authority while simultaneously commanding one of the world's most substantial economies. The intricate link between Stalin's personal wealth and economic wealth of the Soviet Union renders it challenging to discern one from the other. Yet, the remarkable blend of his unparalleled economic influence and complete dominion over the USSR has prompted multiple economists to nominate him among the wealthiest individuals in history. This perspective gains clarity when considering data from the OECD, which indicates that in 1950, just 3 years before Stalin's passing, the Soviet Union contributed approximately 9.5% to the global economic output. By modern standards, this level of economic productivity would translate to a staggering sum of nearly $7.5 trillion. Though these funds were not directly owned by Stalin himself, his control over the economic might of the Soviet Union provided him with the means to wield his influence at his discretion. Number 4. Akbar I. Abul Fath Jalal-ud-Din Muhammad Akbar, renowned as the Akbar the Great, held the position of the third emperor to rule over the Mughal Empire. Under his reign, the Mughal dominion encompassed roughly a quarter of the global economic output. Angus Maddison, a notable economic historian as cited by Chris Matthews of Fortune, proposes that during Akbar's era, India's GDP per capita would be likened to that of the Elizabethan England, albeit with a ruling class that embraced a lifestyle of opulence surpassing that of European society. This proposition of India's affluent elite surpassing their Western counterparts finds support in the research of economist Branko Milanovic. His investigations highlight the Mughal dynasty's remarkable adeptness of extracting wealth from its populace, positioning it as one of history's most effective empires in this regard. Akbar's estimated net worth, an astounding sum exceeding $10 trillion. Number 3. Emperor Shenzong. The Song dynasty of China, spanning from 960 to 1279, marked an extraordinary epoch of immense economic might. Professor Ronald A. Edwards, an eminent Chinese economic historian from Tamkang University, specializing in the Song dynasty, underscores that at its zenith, this nation contributed a substantial 25% to 30% of the global economic output. Notably, during the reign of Shenzong from 1067 to 1085, an era characterized by peaceful prosperity and primary abundance, China held sway over around 30% of the world's GDP, a staggering equivalent of over $30 trillion in present terms. This economic opulence of the empire stemmed from a fusion of inventive technological strides and an extraordinary mastery of tax collection, with Professor Edwards asserting that the dynasty's tax system outpaced European governments by centuries. Additionally, he highlights the strongly centralized governance of the Song dynasty, which vested the empire with paramount influence over the economic tapestry. Number 2. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's profound influence and the vast expanse of his Mongol empire have led to a remarkable legacy that extends even into the genetic makeup of today's population. A scientific report from 2003 posits that his DNA may be present in up to 16 million men alive today. Having forged an empire of unprecedented scale, encompassing much of China and Central Asia during his lifetime and expanding as far as Poland and Vietnam afterward, Genghis Khan's hypothetical wealth in contemporary terms is staggering. The Richest estimates that he could have possessed a fortune of approximately $120 trillion by today's valuation. Despite his monumental power, Genghis Khan was known for his selflessness and equitable distribution of wealth, a trait that played a pivotal role in his ability to wield influence. Morris Russaby, a distinguished history professor at CUNY's Queens College, emphasizes that his success was founded on sharing the spoils of conquest with his soldiers and commanders. Author Jack Weatherford, who penned Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World, explains that the unique practices of the Mongol soldiers set them apart from many pre-modern armies. Unlike their counterparts, Mongol soldiers were prohibited from seizing personal loot. After a conquest, meticulous records were maintained by official clerks, ensuring that the plundered items were fairly distributed among the military ranks and their families. Number 1. Mansa Musa. Securing the top spot on the list is an individual whose identity might not immediately ring a bell, yet his estimated wealth is beyond comprehension. Mansa Musa, renowned as the ruler of the Mali Empire, holds the distinction of being commonly regarded as the wealthiest individual in recorded history. As affirmed by Richard Smith, a history professor at Ferrum College, Musa's kingdom in West Africa likely held the status of the world's foremost gold producer during an era of extraordinary demand for the precious metal. Just how rich was Musa? There's no way to put a precise figure on his fortune. Historical records are scant, if not entirely absent, and accounts from his era describe his riches in terms that surpass the bounds of that time. Tales of his famous pilgrimage to Mecca shed light on the extravagance of Musa's spending, to the extent that it sparked a currency crisis in Egypt. These stories speak of dozens of camels, each bearing hundreds of pounds of gold. Other tales suggest that Musa commanded an army of 200,000 men, including an astonishing 40,000 archers, an armed force even modern superpowers would find challenging to assemble. Yet getting caught up in pinpointing Musa's exact fortune would overlook the essence. Rudolf Ware, an associate history professor at the University of Michigan, underscores that Musa's wealth was of such magnitude that people struggled to describe it. This is the richest guy anyone has ever seen, and that's the point. That's all from us today. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Thanks for watching.